Most of us have been car shopping, and one thing we've all noticed is that everything is expensive. From entry-level Renalt Kwid to luxury German brands, cars have gotten pricey in India. Part of the reason is, of course, high taxation levels. A Mercedes-Benz E-Class would set you back $60,000 in the United States and would cost over $100,000 in India. Looking at all of this might beg a question: if inflation in India is only about 6 to 7%, why have cars become so expensive all of a sudden? I could easily end this video here and say taxes are the issue, but then I'd be wrong. Turns out the reasons for this are more complex than I thought. And to understand that, let's first analyze how cars are taxed in India. For any car in India, two types of taxes are applied, which are GST and CESS. Now, every car in India has a standard 28% goods and service tax applied on it. But the cess varies from 1 to 22% based on body length, fuel, engine type, horsepower, and even ground clearance of the vehicle. Bigger SUVs such as the Fortuner are long, have high ground clearance, and also a big diesel engine. As a result, a car like this would attract maximum amount of tax, adding up to about 50% in taxes alone. But then, taxes on this car don't end here. Road taxes for 15 years, insurance and TCS charges further bring up this car's cost. The ex-showroom price for this base variant is about 33 lakhs. With taxes and insurance, it adds up to a grand total of 41 lakhs. Irrespective of displacement, SUVs with petrol or diesel engines in this segment attract a GST of 43%. Small cars such as Tata Tiago, Grand i10, Swift, Polo and others attract equal to 18%. Mid-size cars like Baleno, Nexon and Amaze attract about 18%. This is completely outrageous considering the fact that European Union only pays 17% tax. And even China, with the highest automotive market, still pays between 1 to 35%. Countries like the US only pay a registration fee that is usually between $20 to $100 and a 3 to 7% VAT that varies across states. Which means that you can effectively buy a Mercedes E-Class in the US for the price of a Fortuner in India. And this is why more and more companies like General Motors, Ford and Harley-Davidson are leaving India. And recently Honda and Toyota have hinted about poor sales growth in India due to these taxes. But then again, you're still getting a lot more features than you did 10 years ago. A brand new Santro in 2014 would set you back 4.2 lakh rupees for the top spec model. But in 2024, it would cost just a shade over 7 lakhs. This is surprising considering its price has gone up nearly 60%. What's not surprising on the other hand is what 7 lakh rupees gets you in 2024. A 10-year-old Santro did not have ABS, audio airbags or touchscreen infotainment system or even an automatic transmission option. The old Santro would not get a 3-star safety rating or even make it till there, to be honest. With better emissions, a much better safety rating and a much quieter cabin, cars indeed have come a long way in the last 10 years. And speaking of safety, here's a comparison of small hatchbacks 10 years ago and now. The old Santro completely collapses and the roof pillars lose all integrity in this hard collision. In no way would a passenger survive this type of crash in such a car. The new Santro, on the other hand, has shown that while head and neck protection for adult occupants was good for the driver and marginal for the front passenger, it would still imply minor injuries. While Maruti Suzuki chairman complains that safety norms have made cars more expensive and that new rules mandating 6 airbags in all cars will make them pricier, it would be difficult to argue that cars are less safe today than they were in the 1990s or early 2000s. While fatalities have dramatically gone up, this is a function of greater vehicular load on our roads, and as a pure percentage, fatalities involving passenger cars are actually going down. Another major contributor are high commodity prices. The demand for metals like steel, copper and aluminium are at a record high, hence impacting car prices. Also, hybrid and electric cars that use lithium-ion batteries rely on expensive metals like lithium and palladium, which are even more expensive nowadays than ever. Semiconductors are also becoming more expensive and they are being used in cars more than they were used in 10 years ago. The next biggest reason as to why cars have become pricey is undoubtedly CAFE norms. The corporate average fuel economy norms affect not a particular car, rather the entire fleet of cars from the manufacturer. These norms ensure that companies have a total CO2 emissions that are within a certain range. This requires manufacturers to spend more time and money to meet these regulations, hence directly affecting car prices. Individuals grappling with high car prices may resort to cheaper, older models, potentially compromising safety and contributing to pollution. This can create a vicious cycle where affordability leads to environmental and safety concerns, further jeopardizing long-term well-being. For the automotive industry, navigating these prices sensitivity creates a delicate balancing act. On one hand, higher prices can lead to increased profits, but the excessive high risks, depending on demand, impact overall growth and employment. Finding the right balance between profitability and accessibility is essential for sustainable industry development. The road ahead for car prices in India is likely to remain bumpy, but through collective action and strategic interventions, it's possible to ensure that the dream of car ownership remains an attainable dream for many, while also considering the wider societal and environmental implications.